Hey guys, so today I wanted to share a few tips on how to properly care for your hair while it is in a protective style, specifically faux locs, as you can see. So stay tuned. So the first thing you want to be doing is oiling your scalp. Oiling your scalp increases or promotes hair health and scalp health. It also combats dry and itchy scalp. So as you oil your scalp, you are keeping your scalp from becoming dry and thus itchy. Another tip is, while oiling your scalp, you want to make sure that you are massaging those oils in. Massaging the oils in helps promote growth. So because you're massaging the hair in your scalp, the blood is circulating and thus your hair follicles are just ready to sprout. Okay, the hair is ready to sprout out. So massaging your scalp will definitely promote hair growth as well. Number 2, you want to make sure you're using hair bonnets. Now this one is not like a complete must as it is for other protective styles. For other protective styles, you don't want those protective styles to get frizzy and looking rough in just a few days. But with faux locs, the way faux locs works, the longer you have it in, the frizzier it looks. The older it looks, the better it is for the style's overall look. So you don't have to be super religious with this tip or with this step, but you want to wear hair bonnets whenever you have protective styles in. Not only do wearing hair bonnets help decrease frizz, right? It also helps to kind of elongate the shelf life of your hair. It helps to ensure that you're able to wear your hair longer, helps your hair look neater and thus newer, and thus helping you wear the hairstyle for a longer period of time. Another thing to do is to cover your edges whenever you are washing your face or doing something with your face. Now this one is a bit tricky because I know in our community we love to lay our edges. We love to lay our edges with every hairstyle, especially if you're putting your protective style into a style to go out or for a function or any event or anything of sort. You want to make sure your edges are laid. So with that comes putting on gels, and putting gels in on your edges will require you to wash it out at some period in time, right? Inevitably you will have water touching your edges no matter what, but the less amount of time water touches your edges, the better for you. Again, this kind of ties in with the previous tip that I gave, because by not allowing hair to come into contact with your edges as often, your hair will look fresh, your hair will look newer, right? Because the more water touches your hair or your edges, the frizzier your edges will look, the older your edges will look. And usually whenever I don't know if you've ever gone back to your hairstylist for like a retouch or a touch-up. With protective styles, what the stylists end up doing is rebraiding or rewrapping the first 2 layers of the front, or even sometimes all around just the outskirts of your head, just redoing those few braids or few strands just to help your hair look newer and kind of hide the older, frizzier styles that are in the middle. So that is why it's important not to allow water to touch your edges, because if they touch your edges, your natural hair will frizz up and come out of the braid and hang, and it'll just look older. So you want to make sure that you're using something to protect your edges if you care. Again, with faux locs, you don't have to really care that much. The older, the frizzier, the better. the better for you. So for this protective style specifically, this is another tip that you don't really have to take to heart, but you know, it's kind of like a rule of thumb for all protective styles that you cover your edges whenever you're dealing with anything that has to do with the water. So now, in terms of hair health and making sure that you are caring and tending to your natural hair while it is in a protective style, I wouldn't recommend you laying your edges so often. Again, gels require you to have to wash your hair over and over and over. And if you are washing not your hair, but wash your edges over and over. And if you are washing your edges that often, I would hope that you are also applying moisture into it before you walk away. I hope that you are oiling those edges and making sure that it's moisturized, because gels do tend to dry out hair. But overall, the best plan is really prevention, just not even using gels at all, or as little as possible. You know, sometimes whenever you tie a scarf around your edges overnight, you take them off the next morning, they look laid, not sleek, but they are tamed. And that can be a look for the day. You don't have to put on, gel. Again, unless you're going to work or, an event and, going out and needing to lay your edges, then I guess it's inevitable. But try as much as possible to limit the amount of time that you are applying gel to your edges, especially. This tip really speaks to promoting hair health and making sure that you aren't doing any damage to your natural hair. And that tip is making sure that you are not putting your hair in styles that are applying a lot of tension on your scalp. High tension hairstyles will cause breakage. It just will. The point of putting your hair in a protective style is to, kind of minimize you having to manipulate your hair ever so often. But if you are putting your faux locs up in really tight ponytails, just because you want to get the lifted look, or if you are, doing all kinds of crazy stuff that is causing you to have a real headache after having your faux loc in that style for X amount of time, yeah, that's an indicator that you should not have your hair in that position or in that style for a long time. So you really want to minimize the amount of tension you are applying on your hair and on your scalp as you put your faux locs in styles, as you style your faux locs. So yeah, and I want to leave you guys with this just as a reminder that, protective styles are meant to protect, and they will protect so long as you aren't doing anything that would cause more damage to your hair, right? So like the high tension hairstyles, the not oiling your scalp often, at least once a week, gelling down your edges without reapplying moisture, or making sure that your hair is moisturized. These things can cause more damage to your hair than what the protective style was intended to do in the first place, right? So let's just keep that in mind as we rock our protective styles. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful in one way or another. If you have other tips, more tips, please share, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, bye.